How do you prepare your track for stem mixing, stem mastering, individual mixing? I'm going to show it to you. Please follow this instruction exactly to save time and to avoid stress. Just follow it one by one and you will always be right. So here you have your Ableton project. For example, here you have a kick bass group. We can open it. In the group, there's kick, there's bass. This is your whole track. Here are some other groups with synthesizers, with pads, etc. So step number one is you have to set the marker, the loop marker, from the start where your track begins until the end. Make sure to not cut out some overlapping reverb tails. This is step one. Then next step is now we're gonna define what stems we want to export. So for example, in any case, for probably every project, we want the kick drum separate. So we go to the kick and then we click on solo on the kick. And then what we do, it's super simple. You just follow exactly how I show you. Just click on solo for each tracks which you want to export in the groups or in the stems. A group is the same like a stem or an audio track. So you just click. So in this case, we want to export the kick drum into the stem. So you click on solo and then we go to file and then audio export. And now we have this window here. And here, very important, just use the master, which means the audio file will be exported as you hear it in your current situation. Don't change the setting that you click on kick because you don't know what happens with the routing internally. Because, for example, here in this case, we routed the kick through a kick and bass group, and the kick bass group is going to be routed to the master bus. So I maybe have effects on the kick and bass group. I maybe want to have effects on the master bus. So I always want to export the files as you hear it with all the effects. We do not want to change the sound. So very important, make sure that here is just master bus. Here's the start, it's the end, which we just set. And then we want to export in WAV or IEF, which is the same. The bit depth, we're going to use 24-bit. And here you can just leave the standard settings. The sample rate here should be the same as the sample rate which you use to produce. I always recommend to stay in 44.1 kilohertz for music production. If for whatever reason you prefer to produce in 48 kilohertz, you can export it in 48 kilohertz. I do not recommend it. I always recommend stay in 44.1 and 24-bit. And then you click export. That's it. And then we have the first stem ready. Then let's say you want to export the bass. So you go on all bass sounds, which we want to export into the bass stem. So in this case, we only have two bass sounds. So we go on this bass and this bass, click on both solo. I have to press Command key. And then I just do the same. I go to file, I go to this, and then export. Bam, that's it. Then, for example, with the drums, or let's say the next stem here is I want to export like a stem with just certain lead sounds. So you click on this lead sound, then maybe you want to include this lead sound, then you want to include this lead sound. You just click on solo on which sounds you want to export, and then same settings. Don't change anything regarding the routing. So you probably have groups. Here you have a group where we have like a compressor or you have a sidechain compressor or whatever. Don't change anything regarding the sound. One more thing, make sure that when you go on the master bus, it is okay to have a mix bus chain, for example, a glue compressor, maybe saturation. It is not okay to have a limiter on the master bus for the export. So make sure to have this always right.